The following video contains imagery some viewers may find disturbing. If you have any sensitivities to the subject of stalking, supernatural phenomena, music, bizarre coincidences, or numerology, please do not watch this video. The footage you are about to see is from a scrapped vlog that I was filming during a recent trip to Dallas, Texas. My goal was just to capture some casual footage. I wasn't even going to make a YouTube video about it, hence all the vertical video. But my plans changed because something unexpected happened. Me and my friends were stalked while playing Pokemon Go during the Hoenn tour. I shared some of the details in a previous video, the fact that the name doxieapk was showing up all around us. We were seeing them in gyms. Almost every Pokestop that had a lure on it was from doxieapk. They were in almost every single raid lobby that we joined that entire weekend. And based on all that information, a lot of people said, well, obviously this is a spoofer, right? Just someone hacking their GPS location, teleporting their character all around Dallas, Texas, following us. And yeah, sure, that would explain why we never really saw anybody in person. But it wouldn't explain how Doxie knew our exact position at all times, regardless of where we went. Because we actually changed locations quite a bit, sometimes driving 20, 30 minutes away, going to various parks. But no matter where we went, even if it was just grabbing coffee off the side of the road for 5 minutes, you know, we jump in a raid and there was Doxie again and again. It was starting to become disturbingly clear that for someone to be following us this closely, they had to have been physically watching us. And it wasn't long before each and every time we did see him in a raid or we saw a lure appear on top of us, I would scan the area. I would look for suspicious cars. Sometimes I would see something. Other times it was painfully obvious that there was nothing. Especially wandering around Fair Park. I mean, that area was dead. But there was one lure that went up and I couldn't help myself. I just did a quick sweep. And of course, all I saw was open spaces and empty hallways. But occasionally we would catch a random car or a person walking in the distance. But I guess it never reached a point where we genuinely felt threatened or felt like we had to risk a confrontation, because after all, we did fly all the way here to play this limited time event, and we weren't about to let some troll ruin this whole trip for us, right? So we just decided to focus on the game, and we kept telling ourselves it wasn't a big deal, that it wasn't that crazy of a thought that this could be happening. In reality, it was very bizarre, but you know, you tell yourself things to cope. But then it started to bubble out in other ways. We started to get suspicious of each other. You know, there are a few people in the group that have multiple phones, me included. You know, I'm always running 2 phones because I'm recording and playing the game. And honestly, valid to be suspicious of me. I mean, I do have a history of making kind of goofy, dramatic TikTok videos, but the real smoking gun that everyone was grilling me about, which is valid, and it's gonna sound bad when I say it, but I realized that doxieapk was on my friends list. Yep, I know how that sounds, but speaking as someone who has their friends list maxed out at almost all times and is constantly deleting and adding new people, yeah, I guess at some point he got on there, most likely through the invite code that I list on my profile. But that's only for new accounts, and his account definitely seems new. I mean, the stats are strange to say the least, for the amount of Pokemon he's caught versus his level, and it's also possible that he just changed his name after I added him. I mean, he could have been on here for months and I never would have known. In fact, the only reason why we did notice at all is we saw the friendship boost lines that you see in the raid lobbies that you get from friends, and my immediate reaction was to delete him off my friends list. But after talking it over with the group a little bit, we decided probably best to keep him. It's just another source of information if we really want to figure out who this is. But yeah, by that final day, after some intense scrutiny and some bizarre trust building exercises, we were pretty convinced that it wasn't just someone in the group playing an elaborate prank. And we all agreed that when we got back to the Airbnb, we would do a proper deep dive on the name doxieapk, hoping to just find some kind of social media account or anything. And of course, unsurprisingly, we didn't pull up much. That username doesn't seem to be used anywhere, really. It just gave us a few random scanner products and apps. Someone pointed out too that the APK could be a reference to an Android file type, but even searching doxie.apk didn't change very much. We just kept getting the same scanner apps. We even put his name through a descrambler and didn't really get any significant hits, so almost an immediate dead end right out the gate. And this next part is probably going to sound dumb and paranoid, but our internet started to cut out as we were wrapping this up, and we started hearing these really weird noises outside. And of course, as the guy with the camera, I volunteered to go check it out. So yeah, it was wind. It was just the wind. But I mean, does wind normally set off car alarms? Is that like normal in Texas? I don't know. But the timing couldn't have been worse because everybody was already kind of going stir crazy back inside. You know, a mixture of nerves and just trying to pretend that everything was fine, I guess. Like OG specifically was hoping to like get out and do our daily adventure incense before midnight. Because we had been doing that on previous nights, but like there was no way we were going to go outside in this weather. And I was kind of bummed too, because I was hoping to grow some new Pikmin on that walk. I picked up some new seedlings while we were at Fair Park. And I know you guys probably don't play Pikmin Bloom or understand that game at all, but I promise you, I'm bringing it up for a very good reason. Because it was having that thought in that moment that led me to open up Pikmin Bloom on my phone while everyone was trying to figure out what to do. And as soon as my game loaded in, what I saw sent a chill down my spine. There was somebody outside the house. Now, I don't think everybody knows this, but in Pikmin Bloom, you can actually see the location of other players if you have this specific toggle turned on. And considering I had been playing Pikmin Bloom in the background for the entire Hoenn tour, I forgot that I had this feature toggled. I just leave it on by default. And it's especially bad because I had literally made everybody download the game the first day we showed up in Texas. I just wanted to see how many characters could appear on the map. And sure enough, it worked. We got all 6 of us on the map. But what I didn't realize until I looked back at the footage later is that there was a 7th person that appeared with us that day. The same person that just appeared outside the house. I went straight to the window hoping to catch a glimpse of whoever this might be, but I was too late. Even after running out the door and down to the sidewalk, I did not see anybody. Kaya had seen me run out the door and was following behind me. We were considering following Doxie down the road, but whoever this was moving very quickly, and even if we could catch up, there's no guarantee that there would even be anybody there to catch at all. As we turned around to go back into the house and tell the others what had happened, I got hit with a weird sense of relief. Whether doxieapk is a spoofer or not, at least one part of the mystery was solved. They were very clearly using Pikmin Bloom to track our location. So I told everybody to either delete Pikmin Bloom off their phone or ensure that that feature was disabled. And while it did put everybody at ease knowing that we might have figured out at least how to end this, there were still so many unanswered questions, like, what does Doxie want from us? Is this really just a troll? Can we really say for sure whether it's a spoofer or not at this point? I mean, even a real person could use Pikmin Bloom to track our location in that same way. Any one of those cars or people walking around could have been doxieapk. And I don't even think I need to say it, but obviously we did not sleep very well that last night in Texas. The next morning, we packed our bags and left the Airbnb. You know, with Pikmin Bloom fully shut off, it seemed like it was working. We stopped for breakfast, grabbed coffee, and didn't see any signs of Doxie anywhere. But then we got to the airport, and while waiting for the first flight, I noticed my game was acting up a little bit because I had actually pulled a shiny Pidgey while we were sitting there, which was really cool. So, you know, I wanted to get good footage of it. And this was something we were doing kind of the whole trip. Anytime we pulled a memorable shiny or a fun-sized Pokemon, you know, you'd reset the AR camera to try to get some fun footage of it. But for some reason, my Pokemon weren't appearing in the AR camera mode. And like, yeah, okay, Pokemon Go is a pretty glitchy game, but we were doing this very consistently all weekend with no issues. And then it hit me. We had been so caught up in saying our goodbyes and reminiscing on the trip and just feeling relieved that I didn't even think to check the lure that was sitting directly on top of us. I did not tell the group in that moment what I saw. I did not want Doxie taking this last moment of the trip we had together because the truth is, this was probably one of the best trips we've ever had. But deep down, I know that I'm never going to be able to think about Texas or the Hoenn tour or any of the shinies I got that weekend without being constantly haunted by a single question. Who or what is doxieapk?
I genuinely enjoy going on vacation.